We've been blessed with at least two big matchups on each of the match days so far this Champions League. Tonight's menu per se has just the one, but break it down and all the plot lines and surround sound, and it makes for more than just a contest. Delighted to have Matt Holland back with us on Wion to build up to that game. The former Welsh footballer and present mastermind, as we call us, joins us from Bangkok. Matt, no bigger subtext to tonight's Man United against Juventus tussle than the return of Cristiano Ronaldo to Old Trafford. Here's a man who drove what for the time being can be called the last golden age of an illustrious club to begin what has been a sterling career for himself. He returns to the ground that started his legend, finding his former team as a pale shadow of what it once was.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Of course, we've all seen the social media over the last 3 to 4 days, including the build-up a few weeks ago when he was red-carded in that last game. I think it's a great spectacle that he's going to be able to play. It's fantastic for those Manchester United fans who still idolise him. I bet they wish that he was done in Manchester United's colours tonight against Juve as opposed to the other way around. But I'm certainly looking forward to it, as I know the football public are also.
Now, United did remain good even after Ronaldo left in 2009. The real rut has existed since the departure of Sir Alex Ferguson in 2012. At that very point, Juventus were starting their road to redemption after the fixing scandal and whatnot. Look at them today. 7 straight league titles, 2 Champions League finals in the last 4 years. And now with the addition of Ronaldo, they are to some the biggest stock in European football.
Well, even I read one report today that Marcelo, the Real Madrid left-back, has come out and said he'd like to play there. You know, when you're talking about these big clubs, I'm sure all the top players would like to try a new club. You know, when they've been at a club for 5, 6, 7 years, as there are a handful of them now, you know, at these super clubs, I think they do want to, you know, dip their feet, so to speak, in somebody else's pool. You know, they've got an upgrade to the stadium that they play in. They've got fantastic support. They are a very dominant team domestically. They are the team to play for. The black and white stripes is as famous as the red of Manchester United, the blaugrana of FC Barcelona, and the mighty white of Real Madrid. So, you know, they are a super club, and it doesn't surprise me at all, actually, that, you know, these players would like to go and play there, and the might of them is also unquestionable in some cases.
From a tactical standpoint, Matt, where do you see this game being decided? United may have had a shambolic start to the season, but you look at their last 2 outings, you've seen 2 second-half performances akin to the Red Devils the world has known and we've seen in this 21st century.
The tactical set, the way the game will be won, and looking at those last 2 games that you just mentioned, I think Mourinho has been smart. I think he's kept it relatively tight in the first half, and then look to go, right, we've got them where we want them to a certain extent. Having said that, they did, you know, lose goals in those games first, but to come out, give a bit more freedom, a little bit more expansive, knowing that solidly the game has already been set in a way. Personally, for me, I think that there would be a tight game, which is not too difficult to say also. I don't think we can take any credit away from the Juve team, but of course, will the focus be on to stop Ronaldo, and it will allow others to come into the game, maybe a Dybala? But for me, I think Manchester United, I would be very surprised if they come flying out of the blocks. I think they would be quite conservative. However, I think it's a time for the big players in the team to come into this game. I'm expecting Pogba to have a good game.
I'm glad you bring up that name, Matt, because all this attention on Ronaldo and his return is overshadowing Paul Pogba's reunion with the club that inflated his stock in the first place. He's been in the headlines more for the bad than the good post his World Cup triumph. All this talk of a move away from United in the offing as well. You perhaps could look at a night such as this one as a pivotal moment, one way or the other.
Yeah, I think he's spot on, and I think it'll be pivotal in a positive way. I think Pogba will want to show to Manchester United fans, staff, if there are any issues still haggling around underneath the surface. I think he'll want to show to the watching world, because he knows that all eyes will be on Ronaldo. I think he'll want to come up because he's that type of character, isn't he? He needs to be the person that holds court. He needs to be the person with the attention. Not attention seeking, but that's his character. He's very colourful. So I think that he'll have to step up his game for sure. I think he put in a performance whereby it's one of these world-class performances that he's certainly capable of. And he won a show. There's still some teammates left that he played with previously. Obviously, the coach is also there. So, I mean, personally, for me, I think he's going to come out. I don't know if he'll come out on top of the game, but I think he'll put in a stellar performance.
All right, speaking of former clubs, Matt, let's get a final word on Ronaldo's more recent employers. The last time Real Madrid went 5 matches without a win, Cristiano Ronaldo had not donned the Blancos jersey at that point in 2009. You just know Julen Lopetegui is a man in troubled waters, but the players and the leaders in the Real camp too haven't done much to lift the team over this last month, have they?
Not at all. You know, those results for a club like Madrid are disastrous and drastic. I mean, you know, even I know their local paper, they've been on the case of they're grasping a little bit, you know, at the fact that they didn't concede for a few games, but they were drawing. We know that they've got big characters, big players. You would expect them to come out in this game that they're going to play next against Brazil and easily win by 3 or 4. If they don't, then I really think Lopetegui's days are numbered. I think it'll be a matter of hours before the news comes out that they will decide to change. We know how Madrid are, and if you think about it, if they can sack a coach after winning the Champions League and winning La Liga, what do you think they're going to do on this type of run? I'm surprised he's lasted this long. I wouldn't necessarily agree with it. You know, does he need a little bit of time? You have to appreciate the fact that under Zidane they achieved immense results and a playing icon also for the club. It was almost a match made in heaven. His journey. So to follow Zidane was not easy. You know, retired player, youth team coach, sporting director, head coach, very successful times during that, because of course they had Ancelotti when he worked with him, and they were successful also. So for me, he's got to win tonight. If he wins by 3 or 4, I think it'll take him until Sunday, and I think he'll have to win El Clasico to even give himself a fighting chance of staying in the job.
Got a feel for Julen Lopetegui at some level. The farcical ouster from the Spanish job right before the World Cup. A disastrous start to the job at the kings of European football. And what lies next? A match you just cannot lose as Real Madrid boss. We'll see whether he lasts till that game, Matt, as you pointed out. But before that, we'll see how things pan out tonight. Look forward to being joined by you again, Matt, in 24 hours from now to review all that action. Thank you for your time. Always a pleasure having you with us here.